Hello everyone and welcome back to Just Because Minecraft, and this is episode 9. Wow. Um yeah. So today what we're actually going to do is that we're going to be doing some farms. Specifically one farm or the beginning of one farm. And this is going to try to take advantage of, or not take advantage of, but take advantage of I guess we'll use that word, take advantage of the new mud mechanic. And to make mud, you need dirt, and any kind of dirt will work. So, what's a renewable source of dirt? We can make rooted dirt with our moss. And basically, the reason why I kind of want that is not specifically for the dirt, because the dirt is really nice. The rooted dirt actually works pretty well with some contrasting palette, or with some palettes and all that stuff. But really, it's just because I have a lot of moss here, and I'm starting to realize that maybe I should not moss up this whole place. Question mark? Question mark? Because the thing is if I just grab the stone, granite, and andesite as I carve this area out, one, I'm taking advantage of the fact that I have these beacons that are activated, except for the one over there. And the reason why that one's not activated is because there's a geode that I still need to make a farm for. And I haven't made that farm because of the fact that well, there's two geodes, and I don't know if I showed this off. I might not have. I also might have, but there's two geodes here, and there's this really big one that's natural opening is over. Oop, its natural opening is over here, and you can see it's pretty big. And I've carved out some space, as well as kind of like tried to dig away into it. It's supposed to go kind of in that direction. It's a little bit weird, and I'm always like scared to like mine here, especially with the haste too, because you can really easily just punch out like one of the budding amethysts without realizing it. So we have that one there, and then and that one has been there for a while, or this one is newly discovered. The one that I've always had is the one actually in this corner, and this was actually one of the ones that I found very early on in my world. And the reason I found it was because the top of it was peeking out at the river. And yeah, I just found it and dug down, and this is it. The thing is that, so I would like to make this an actual farm. I'm not going to make one of those fancy automated amethyst farms. Rather, instead, what's going to happen is we're going to try to fill this area in with water. So, like, think of like digging out basically a giant square or rectangle that encompasses both, and we're going to fill it up in with water, and then that way, from that, we're gonna have to, from there we can basically like every time we farm it, we have we can go in and collect it as it will rise to the top, and so on and so forth. So it'll be very manual. This one's definitely going to be a very manual type of farm, because the automation, I don't think, for how much amethyst I may or may not need, is honestly questionable at this point in time. So yeah, but that's like a later project, and it's probably going to be a longer project due to the fact that I've dug out this amethyst geode, but I have not dug out this one, and I'm still trying to figure out how it works with my bigger project, which is this giant pond lake thing that I'm still slowly but surely I am digging out. I am making progress on it, but because I don't have a lot of time to just sit down and mine, it's gonna be hard to compile a time lapse of that. But regardless, that's not what we're here for, and today, rather, we're going to make a rooted dirt farm. And the reason, like I said, I want terracotta, and I want the terracotta, or it's a renewable source of terracotta, because you can change it into mud with the new mechanic, 1.19 mechanic, and then what we can do is then use terracotta kind of on the insides of the trees, and just use terracotta in general more in our buildings, because let me say, when I'm doing like the villager stuff, they don't trade much terracotta. They trade, I think, 12 per whatever color they have, and you can get about 24, because I think they only refill like once or twice, so you get like 24-ish terracotta per each. And if you have 3, let's say you're lucky enough to have 3 or something of that color, you still don't get like enough. You get like barely a stack, and a little bit over. So that's gonna be, I feel kind of bad, but now at least those villagers will trade me quartz once I get them all leveled up to like masters or whatever, expert level masters, something. And some progress from last time is that I have decided to start my second floor, and I don't have an entrance to this yet. I'm gonna need to make an entrance once I close this area up. As you can see, this is going to be where the tower is going to be. So what's gonna happen is I'll have the entrance up to the second floor somewhere, kind of wherever, and then we're gonna have kind of some way to get up. So that way, we don't have to worry about trying to connect the first floor to the tower. Instead, we're going to connect really only the second floor to the tower. It's gonna look strange, but hey, none of my buildings look good at this moment, so yeah, that's gonna be a thing. But it's gonna be interesting. I'm still kind of figuring out the shape of this, but yeah. But I got a second floor in, and I do have to say, the smithing tables really do make for a nice floor kind of pattern, and so on and so forth. And even underneath, I really do like how the bottom looks, and it actually does match the mangrove wood, which is actually something I wanted to also show off in this episode. So, since we're talking about 119 and kind of making the rooted dirt farm, so we can make terracotta, let's have some fun with our propagules. So I actually have not, these are the 2 propagules that I found, I believe, in like 2 something episodes ago. But right now we're gonna have some fun with them. So let's go into our swampy area, which is right over here, so I didn't actually need to fly this far. And as probably some of you guys might know and might not know, propagules now can be planted in water, and they can also be planted on land. So we could let that grow, or we can bone meal it, and we'll see, it grows right there. And what we can do is just bone meal it a few times, and then we get our mangrove tree. So as you see, we have some propagules here that formed naturally as part of it. Some of them are not fully developed, as over there, and then we also have our our roots, and so on and so forth, our mangrove roots. And then if you do it underwater, so we still have our little boy here, right? We'll do this a few times. Come on. And you see, now these roots are actually watered log, and we get our mangrove over there. Oh, that's an interesting looking one. That's a really tall one. But these are our mangroves. And mangrove wood, I think they chose to do the, oh, was that not fully grown? That might not have been a fully grown one. That's sad. Okay. Yeah, so you can harvest the propagules by just bone mealing the bottom of these, and then you have to bone meal, like, you bone meal the leaf, or you bone meal the leaves, and then you get a propagule. So, I believe I do not have my silk touch hoe. But I have my silk touch axe. So we're gonna just grab one, and then one of these can make all the propagule we want, all the propagules that we want. So, let's grab the roots, and let's grab also the wood as well. But as we can see right here, you can't pick up waterlogged ones, as you know, but that's kind of like the same. But we have our mangrove. Wow, pretty. I think I've seen some people kind of make fun of this one because it looks kind of like a piece of roast meat, which is kind of interesting. But we can use this for we can use this for all the wood stuff that you usually do. So this is going to be a nice wood to kind of work with, and have basically just fun, you know. It's a new color, and especially the outside texture. So I'm going to actually use this for the villager hall, and the reason for this is because if you see this outside kind of texture of the mangrove wood, it's a very nice kind of in between like oak and dark oak, right? So we can show this here, and we'll show a few there, right? Show a few there. So we get this nice kind of fade where it's like not, because between oak and dark oak, I know the planks are a lot harsher than the actual wood itself, but you can see it gives you that kind of dark that you want, but it's also not as harsh as this, especially when you lay on its side. Because of the texture, I can continue kind of this verticalness. I'm gonna play around with it and see what happens, but for now I'm probably gonna go farm up some mangrove, and we'll get that started. Huh. Seems like when it grows, I didn't know you could put moss carpet on water. Interesting. Guess I'll leave it there. Looks like a funny lily pad. Interesting again. So I decided to just kind of come over here, and since I had a bunch of flat land, decided to see if I can bone meal propagule, and these are actually really tall. I was not expecting them to be really tall. Like, and to be fair, the roots take up a good like 5, 6, 7 blocks, right? But at the same time, that's like very tall. I think the only thing that can compare at this point is probably like of one of those 4x4 spruce or jungle trees, honestly. And that's pretty impressive for this. So yeah, I don't think I'll plant these in water, TBH, because the water just gets really frustrating, I think, to move around in when you're trying to do, unless I get like a flat water, which if I ever finish this, I might have. But these roots actually do make for a very nice decoration, and especially since they can be waterlogged now, it'd be kind of nice to have this somewhere. But speaking of waterlogging, I don't have a water bucket for some reason, and I don't know why. But you can waterlog leaves, which means if I ever find where I put my water bucket, I can show this off. Here. There we go. So, any type of leaves can be waterlogged now. And we can show that with the mangrove ones for now. Just because I have them, but we have the azalea bushes over there, right? So just put that in, and let's just kind of, you know, hit around it. If you break the block, the water will go in. But as you can see, it's pretty self-contained, which I think looks kind of cool, and it actually looks very interesting, like almost like a net of water, so to speak. So let's check what the azaleas look like. And we have 2 types, so we're gonna show off both, right? So there's that one. You can see, got our cute little kind of water container, and then we have that one as well. And this one just doesn't have the flowers. But what you can do with this now is that we can start making kind of like, you could probably make some kind of any generator that needs probably water. It doesn't flow though, so I wouldn't say you can make, you probably can't make a stone generator, but you can make a cobblestone probably. So yeah. But that's kind of interesting, and now we could do some really fun things with leaves. And I was actually kind of waiting for this a little bit. And the reason for this is that if we dive down, and we pull out our mangrove, right? And let's just throw this in, right? So usually what would happen is you would see like an air bubble in the leaf. But now we don't have that, and now it's seamless, and now it's actually like underwater. So I actually did kind of want to go. Why are you here? Go away. I wanted to keep that. I wanted to wait for that for a little bit, because part of the project that I am working on kind of requires for some underwater leaves, and that's, you know, that's a thing I need to I wanted to, I was kind of a little concerned about, because if you have these air pockets, you end up having some weird things with how the water simulator works. So you end up with, again, some just strange kind of artifacts, I guess you can say, of the water when it moves around, but nothing too big. So hopefully, yeah, the water go down, and then we'll move on to the next topic, which is just me farming, or I'm gonna go farm some mangrove wood, and I will be back. So, see you guys then. Alright, and we're back, and we are back in my creative testing world. And what you see behind me is actually the rooted dirt farm that I was talking about in the beginning of this episode. So this rooted dirt farm is based off of, or basically derived from CubFam135's rooted dirt farm. The link is in description to the episode that he talked about it. He doesn't give a step-by-step tutorial, so this does not fully match his farm, just because I did not take like the world download of and look at the farm. What I did was I just looked at the video and just reverse engineered it. So yeah, there are some things that are definitely, I don't know, the redstone could probably be a heck of a lot better, but we're gonna ignore that. But basically, the general concept, and again, he explains this pretty well in his episode, so go watch that, and kind of try to reverse engineer it out. So a lot of this kind of looks similar, and of course it looks similar. But what the general concept is that when you make an azalea, right, when you plant azalea on either moss, dirt, grass, or whatever, right, any azalea, and you bone meal it, this underneath will turn into rooted dirt. And specifically what we care about is actually, we care about stone. So, we care about really the stone, because what you can do is with stone is that if we have, okay, just toss that out. And we need some moss. Some of you guys probably all even know this, but if you have stone and you put moss around it, I think there's a specific like kind of radius, distance, how it's supposed to reach it, whatever. You can turn the stone into moss, and what you can do is that you can plant azalea, and then you bone meal it a few times and it turns into root dirt. If you get rid of this, right, and let's say we push that to the side, you can actually push it out of the way, and let's say we just have the moss block again, and you plant the azalea. Even with that, you can plant this, and you get another azalea, and you get like an azalea tree there again, and you turn the root dirt. So then get rid of this again, and then you plant again, and you bone meal, and ta-da, rooted dirt. So that it basically goes off of that concept. And what we have here is we place our stone or whatever block we need, and it will be turned into moss. Then we plant a tree in this top part, and then it gets bone mealed and grows up, and then it gets pushed to the side. Once it pushes all the way to the push limit, which is around 12, I believe, which is 12. I don't know if I counted this out correctly, but it should be. Pushes out to its max. This will trigger. So if I put a block here, right? Moss gets instantly broken, but if we don't, what happens is this gets pushed out. And yeah, just like that. And then we get it pushed kind of something like that. And then we can fill this up with around like the 12 by 12 square. So like every so often I will stop and then harvest this, and then go back and keep planting. The thing is that this is definitely not super efficient because of the fact that this is not fully really renewable yet, and the reason for that is because the best way would be if I could somehow attach a stone generator to this. So this was what this idea was for. Sadly, this didn't really work as well as I wanted it to. And the reason for that is because I don't know, like you end up getting these awkward timings where if it's not good, like you get cobblestone. Like if it's too fast, or like if the lava comes down fast. So what you want it to do is you want it to kind of push it fast, like push it really quick, retract, so the water flows in first, and it's waterlogged stairs, so that's why the lava can kind of do that funky thing. So the water flows in first and the lava flows on top, and that's how you make stone. Else, if lava touches stone from any other angle, you end up, or touches water from any other angle, you end up getting cobblestone. And that's not what we want, because you actually can't, this is not, if I pull up the F3 screen, you can see on the side, on targeted block, you see how this one right here, it suddenly turns into like, there's like a lot that pops up, right? Where it says like Azalea root replaceable, and that's what we're looking for. Goat spawnable on, right? Cobblestone, it's literally, you can pickaxe it. You can use a pickaxe and you can mine it, and that's it. Stone has like a lot of other things where it can get replaced. Cobblestone cannot. And so we don't want that. And the thing is you can't bone meal this. You can't turn this into moss early, because if you do, you end up pushing this. You end up pushing the moss, and moss gets broken by, as you saw here, moss gets broken by piston. So just see, gone. Bye, moss. So we can't have that, which is unfortunate. There is a way to definitely make farms that are connected, where you can connect a snow generator up into like a rooted dirt farm, and then you can take the rooted dirt, and what you can do is you have automatic dispensers, because if we pull up a dispenser, I have like so many of them in this build, right? If we have a dispenser and we filled this up with like water bottles, you can automatically, okay. Oop. Okay. And we need a button. Yeah, you can automatically turn it into mud, right? And then what we can do is with that mud, mud. We'll just grab this. With mud, what we can then do is with dripstone. I don't think it has to, does it have to be directly underneath, or I think we can put both. But we can put dripstone underneath, and basically what this does is that this drains the, I believe this drains the water from the mud, and I think actually this is the correct way to do it. And basically you drain the water out and you can turn it into clay, and then clay can turn into terracotta, and therefore you have your renewable source of terracotta, which is amazing. But yeah, thing is, those are well above my redstone skill level. This was already kind of troubling to, not troubling, it wasn't that bad, but the reason why this was hard was I needed to power a dispenser down here in order to power this moss block without kind of powering like the pistons and so on and so forth, and this has to be on a clock, while this, I think I just repeatedly bone mealed this area, and there's some also things of, you cannot put certain blocks within kind of a certain area of the azalea bush as it grows, else the game will not recognize it as a viable spawning space for an azalea tree, and therefore not grow the azalea. Yeah, but overall I have like this really crappy clock over here. I was playing around with different clocks, somewhere, if I show you, right, this is like a really basic redstone clock, just throw in a comparator, goes around, turns off, turns on, so on and so forth. You could have this one, which I believe it's called the Etho Hopper clock. This one's actually very simple to build as well. I think the only issue I was having with it was just having was just kind of linking this up because this one has a little bit more points for me to easily like see that like, oh yeah, I can like do this, connect it here, yada yada. This one I think only has this output right here that you can really work with, which still works. I just like this one better. It does take up a little bit more space, at least laterally. This one takes up more space vertically. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to take that break into the creative world so we could take a look at what I'm probably going to be gathering materials and what I'm going to be building next. So with that, let's return to the survival world. And welcome back. And as you see, I've actually built the design that I had in my creative world. There is some slight modifications, but just to make sure it fits. But here we are. Now, where are we specifically? So I actually, if you remember a few episodes ago, remember I built kind of this kind of like warped fungus, as well as crimson fungus kind of farm here, and with the side effect of having brown mushrooms pop up. Kind of not sure what to do with them. They've just been naturally spawning, but not doing anything, which is nice. I do get some slime spawn here as well, so it's in a really bad slime farm. But regardless, I just slammed into that. But this does work. I did, as you see, I did test it out for a few iterations, and it's working pretty well. And like I said again, the design is from CubFam135. I'll put description in the I'll put the link in the description. I'll put the link in the description below, and you guys can go check it out. And it also, if I really wanted to, it's a really slow like bone meal sea carpet azalea farm. Those azalea, at least these, actually I put in there for storage. It's controlled by a clock over here, that's connected to this switch that I just wired up, so I don't have to keep walking over here to turn it on and off. But yeah, but we'll get a steady supply of rooted dirt and as wood as well, and can harvest just really quickly like that. Make sure just not to knock out the we don't want to knock out that torch, and then we can also just get really nice wood, or we can just get the oak wood as well. And this also doubles as a kind of inefficient wood farm, which is actually good too, because not that I need wood, but it's like at least knowing that like I have a steady supply of some wood where I could use to make either sticks or chests or whatever, is always good. And speaking of chests, as you see back here, I actually have a lot of just space. And I'm definitely planning to kind of decorate this area a little bit more, or at least like have something better to look at than just kind of the normal pattern of like granite, diorite, andesite, and just splotched around. But I'm definitely gonna try to make that look nicer, get a staircase or something going here, or maybe some ladders, and yeah. But also, there is definitely, maybe we can do like a storage area here so we can store our dirt or whatever the heck we need, as well as kind of storing stone, bone meal, excess bone meal, which would be nice. And that way we can just kind of make a few trips, because there's still this really, really stupid skeleton spawner that I have right here. And this is old. This is like, I think from the beginning of this world. When I started, and what I need to do with this one is I actually would like to add some like glass or something. Oh, I'm getting murdered. Add some glass, or add the tinted glass so I could see into this. But for now, yeah, we're close to that up. And this gives me like a good amount of bows, and I actually didn't realize this, but when you have a broken bow, or you have a bow that's, I think as long as, I don't even think it matters if it's enchanted, but if it's like enchanted or it has like like low durability, you can still use it in the dispenser recipe. The only thing is that it just doesn't show up in the crafting book. So I didn't know that because I thought you just couldn't do it, but you can craft it. And it won't affect, like, you can still craft it with like a broken bow as long as it's not completely broken. But yeah. But that's our rooted dirt farm, and now um we will kind of want to see if we want to make mud, and that's really easy to do. um and what we can do is just put a few down here, and I have a bunch of water bottles that we can grab really quick over here because I have way too many bottles. Unfortunately, water bottles do not stack, but there is a small kind of um there is a small way, or there's a way to kind of automate kind of your mud gathering or your mud making, which is what I will be planning to do in the next episode. But you can, because you can turn rooted dirt into mud, that gives us now an endless supply of mud, and therefore, as long as we dry it properly, we just need some dripstone, which I have been farming slowly over here. I probably need to expand this farm, and I am planning to expand this into kind of a much bigger kind of farm, probably either combine it with some of the farms downstairs, or something like that. And right now we have a fair bit. We actually have like a decent amount of dripstone. So we can actually build this right now if we wanted to. So if we take this, we can set up a station or something right over here. And then we'll just lift it up by 2. Let's do this. And then we can do something like that. And I do like the mud sounds very interesting, I will say. And then all we need to do is, I think you can do it without having, like, you could technically do it with the dripstone right underneath, but I'm not actually 100% sure on that. So yeah, but as you see, the idea is that water will drip kind of from it, and then because this is random tick based, sooner or later this will turn into clay, and then we will have our renewable source of terracotta, which would be great, and that would save so many issues or so much time with like gathering terracotta, because villagers, as much as they are very overpowered, they do not they don't harvest, or I cannot harvest terracotta that fast. I'm not, and with how terracotta is, it's just that with all blocks, if you want a lot of them, gonna have to automate it. But yeah, this will take a while, some indeterminate amount of time for this to turn into clay. Please turn into clay so I can show. Okay, just yeah. There's also a bunch of people who have made videos on this as well, so you can go check them out to actually see that turn into clay. But I think with that, we're gonna end the episode off here. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully next episode I'm debating between doing kind of some more farming, and I have 2 farms next that I really want to build, and kind of for my future projects I want to have kind of those materials, and I'm kind of not sure which one to build first. They're both kind of they're both relatively long, definitely a one up just longer builds, but you know, we'll see. But hopefully you guys like this. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.